It started like any other Saturday in Donaghadee, that small, peaceful town in Northern Ireland where crime is rare and life moves at the pace of sea breeze and fishing boats. A place where people know their neighbors, where doors aren't always locked, a place that doesn't usually make national headlines. But on the afternoon of Saturday, June 28th, 2025, all of that changed. Just after 2 in the afternoon, emergency services received a distressing call, the kind of call that silences a control room. Officers were dispatched to a home on Elmfield Walk. A young woman was reportedly unconscious and she was heavily pregnant. When paramedics and police arrived, what they found inside was devastating. 27-year-old Sarah Montgomery was unresponsive, 34 weeks pregnant, just days away from giving birth to a baby boy. There was no time to save her or her unborn child. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. And just like that, this wasn't just a tragic death. It was something darker, something sinister. Police immediately launched a murder investigation. Who was Sarah Montgomery? Sarah wasn't just another name on a case file. She was a young mother. She already had 2 children, and she was preparing to welcome a third. According to friends and family, Sarah was the kind of person who lit up a room, a warm heart, a devoted mother, and someone who had been looking forward to her baby's arrival with joy. People described her as loving, bubbly, kind, and grounded. She was the kind of woman who worked hard to give her kids a better life and who had plans for the future. She wasn't involved in anything dangerous. She wasn't living a double life. Sarah Montgomery was just living until someone decided to take that life away. Her home showed no signs of forced entry, no broken windows, no kicked in doors, nothing stolen. That alone told police one thing: this wasn't a random attack. Whoever did this either had access to the home, or Sarah let them in. The time of death was narrowed down to a 1-hour window between 1:20 and 2:20 in the afternoon. That's a tight frame for a crime of this magnitude. It meant the killer acted quickly, possibly with a plan. Forensic investigators sealed off Elmfield Walk. They began scouring the area for clues, surveillance footage, dashcam videos, witnesses who saw anyone entering or leaving Sarah's home. But there was something else, something that caught detectives' attention: the yellow Jeep Avenger. Multiple people in the neighborhood reported seeing a yellow Jeep Avenger parked near Sarah's home just before the estimated time of death. Then, sometime later that same afternoon, a vehicle matching the same description was spotted around the Belfast Harbour estate on Airport Road between 3:30 and 4:15. It didn't take long for police to put 2 and 2 together. They launched a public appeal asking anyone who saw that yellow Jeep to come forward. But the driver never did. Just hours after Sarah's body was found, police made their first move. A 28-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of murder. They haven't released his name, but what they did confirm was that he was being held under extended detention laws that allow detectives to hold a suspect longer than usual if they believe crucial evidence is still being gathered. Then, 2 days later, another twist. A 42-year-old woman was also arrested, this time on suspicion of assisting an offender. Was she helping the killer cover his tracks? Was she part of a cover-up? Well, maybe not, because just a day later, she was released unconditionally. That means police no longer considered her a suspect, at least not publicly. But the man, he's still being held, still being questioned, and police are under pressure to either charge him or release him. Outside Sarah's home, flowers began piling up: teddy bears, notes, photographs, her name written in hearts. A silence swept through Donaghadee that week. One note read, "You were beautiful. You were loved. We will never forget you." Another simply said, "Fly high, Sarah, and your little angel too." But alongside the grief came anger. Because Sarah isn't the only woman in Northern Ireland to suffer a violent death. She's the 27th woman killed since 2020. And that's when politicians got involved. This is a national emergency. Michelle O'Neill, Northern Ireland's First Minister, didn't mince her words. She called Sarah's death part of a gender based violence epidemic, one that needs to be treated like a national emergency. SDLP MLA Cara Hunter said the community must no longer tolerate another woman being lost. Dupe's Stephen Dunn echoed that, calling for urgent action. This isn't about just one case. This is about a pattern, a systemic failure to protect women before it's too late. The yellow Jeep is a big missing piece. Investigators are begging the public, if you saw that Jeep between Elmfield Walk and Airport Road that day, come forward. Even if you just saw it parked, even if you think it's irrelevant. They're also examining Sarah's phone records, her text messages and call logs, surveillance footage from the harbor and streets nearby, DNA and fingerprints from the crime scene. So far, they've stayed quiet about how Sarah was killed, no official cause of death released. That silence could mean two things. Either they're protecting key details while they build a case, or they're still trying to piece together what happened themselves. As of today, there are no formal charges filed, but the 28-year-old man remains the key suspect. Police are on a race against the clock. Without more evidence, they could be forced to release him. And if that happens, this case could go cold. Sarah's family is waiting. Her two children are waiting. The public is waiting. Final thoughts and the hardest question. Sarah Montgomery had 34 weeks of life inside her. A future, a name picked out, baby clothes washed and folded. She was excited, nervous, happy. She had no idea that her own home, the place she was supposed to feel safest, would become the place where her life was taken. We still don't know who ended that life. We still don't know why. But we do know this. Sarah deserves justice. And so does the baby boy who never got to take his first breath. If you found this story heartbreaking, share it. Let Sarah's name be heard. Let her story spark change. And if you live in the Donaghadee area and know anything, even the smallest detail, contact the Peace Nye. You might hold the final piece to this tragic puzzle. And don't forget to subscribe to Crime Plus series for more deep, true crime investigations. We don't just report the facts, we tell the stories behind the headlines.